Unscripted.
If you were to take a poll and ask people from this generation whether or not they're enjoying their new platform so far, I mean Xbox Series X or the S or the PlayStation 5 specifically, you know, I really feel like most people would probably say they're happy. And I guess this really comes down to maybe a little bit of fanboyism or, you know, one of those type of things. Because, yeah, clearly, if you ask me, like, hey, crap, are you happy about the PlayStation 5? Yeah, I mean, the PlayStation 5 overall is a pretty nice console. Do I wish that there were more games out, both third and first party? Yeah, you know, this is always the bad time when it comes to the launch of a new console. Trust me, I can remember a time when the last generation launched, like stuff like the Xbox One, and we were hyping up games like Strider. Believe it or not, I mean, that was like a game that everybody was like, man, Strider. You know what I mean? Just like a little 2D side scroller or whatever. But yeah, I mean, so I understand that there's little lulls, and we're also in a pandemic, so we're obviously going to have some issues when it comes to actually having the games and things like that. That's to be completely expected. I understand that. So am I happy with the PS5 so far? Yes, I think it's a great console. I think that it's like a truly next-gen console that gives me that feel that I absolutely love. Yes, I played through pretty much the games that are out. So, you know, it's just one of those situations where I'm sure eventually I'll be at some point where I'll be stuck playing some older games. And, you know, not to say that that's a terrible thing. It's just that, you know, I didn't buy a new platform to play old games. You know, I could have just played the old games on my old platforms. You know, it seems like a waste of time and money to me. But, you know, everybody's a little bit different. So, and then if you ask me, are you happy with your Xbox Series X? Obviously, not nearly as happy as, you know, as some people, because obviously the lack of games is something that really kind of affects me and kind of bugs me, I'd say, much more than the average person. And that's probably just because I was in so deep with the whole, you know, crowd of doing like YouTube and stuff like that, and you know, so you're talking about it a lot and it's in the forefront, so it's a little bit more like in your face than some of the other aspects. So also coming off the fact that I just bought an Xbox One X, you know, 3 years ago, and the fact of the matter is, you know, in those 3 years they only put out 3 AAA titles and none the last year of its being on the shelf. And in fact, so far the Xbox Series X has had 0 AAA titles, and you know, we'll have to see how that kind of works out. But you know, for me personally, I feel like there's always room for improvement, and obviously both Microsoft and Sony can and probably will at some point improve things. I don't, you know, really, you know, it's just one of those things. Like some people, I wonder how people can be happy at all with the Series X, because like how I also wonder how people don't feel screwed over if you bought a 1X and then you bought a Series X, and the lack of games. Like, I don't see how anybody could not feel completely screwed over by, you know, these companies. I just feel like that's something that realistically, you know, probably should be how everybody feels, but you know, not everybody's me, and I get that. But this is something new about PlayStation 5. Absolutely sounds incredible. I'm excited to hear about this, and I'm sure that a lot of you guys are going to be excited about it as well. So hey, let's get started. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate it. It helps out the channel, and it means a lot to me personally. If you're looking for a way to help out a little crappy channel like mine, the best way to do it, a simple like. It goes a long way. You know, it really does. Now, with that being said, shout out to all the old subscribers, new subscribers, and everybody in between. You're amazing. Thank you for the support. Once again, issuing my challenge. I am the best game-related podcaster, and you know it. Everybody knows it. Accepting all challenges for debates. I'll be on your channel. Let's talk about it. I will out-debate anybody. Off the cuff, nobody's better than me. People would have to bring their A game. They're not ready for me. We won't see it happen probably, but the challenge is out there. Let's get it done. With that being said, there was a very interesting interview that came out, and I wanted to link this as well so you guys can check this out. The name of this article was Sony may have some surprises in store for PlayStation fans, and I really thought that this was really cool because it was something that I wanted to talk about, and it had a lot of stuff. So it was a Facebook discussion and interview that occurred this month and chief analyst at Sony Technology Partnerships Europe and Corporate Technology Strategy Division, conducted within here. So this was very something much that was interesting, and I thought was definitely worthwhile talking about. It was funny because people were asking about the next PlayStation even, and I thought that was very interesting as well. Right from the get-go, he was asking if he could tell us anything about the sixth PlayStation, and he said he would not be able to talk about it even if he knew anything, but revealed that the PlayStation product cycle of development is roughly 7 years, so they kind of have that idea that they could do something within like the 7 years time or whatever, which maybe seem odd to a little bit of people because Sony tends to support their console for about a decade or so, if not longer. But one can assume he was talking about the actual time the consoles are in development from concept until finalized versions, not actual market production time. So that's very interesting as well. Now, beyond PlayStation, he also quickly alluded to new things being in store for gamers within the PlayStation division in the coming years, particularly when it comes to virtual reality. He also mentioned possibly something to do with augmented reality and possibly a handheld. A successor to the Vita is a dream for many in the Sony ecosystem, even though Sony largely and strangely did its best to ignore the most advanced handheld system throughout its life cycle. It maintains a cult following to this day, known throughout the land as Vita Island, and a new portable offering would garner huge interest. Now, here's the thing with the Vita. I think it's a great handheld system, and I think there's a place for handheld gaming because it's localized gaming, like without streaming and stuff like that. But I also feel like, Sony messed up in a couple instances, and the biggest instance was the memory. To get any kind of memory for the Vita is super expensive. I mean, you're talking, it could be upwards over $100. So that probably turned a lot of people off. There was also a lack of support from the first party, which is a bit of a bummer. But I do think if you did the right kind of setup, you could do something to where, you had the games, and if you could get those games maybe that are on PS5 and maybe have them scaled down to a handheld and people to take them with them or something and maybe download them, figure out something, then that could be as big as the Switch. And I think maybe that could be something that happens. We'll have to wait and see. But VR was a strong focus of the interview, and he kept alluding to new innovations happening soon within the field related to the PlayStation. He claimed it's not just about technically superior head-mounted displays with more pixels and less tethering, like without a wire, but full immersion. By full immersion, he said things possible like the skin or body feeling aspects of a VR experience, in addition to just the eyes or visual aspects. Current version solutions, not just a Sony on the market as a whole, are not fully immersive, he said, but more sensors you put in the and more interactions you can nail, like cameras or gyroscopes, the more interactions with your surroundings you can have. The ultimate experience is also with skin or feeling. So this is pretty much telling us that we should not just expect an upgraded PSVR experience with Sony. With the PS5 VR coming in the future, controllers may either be redesigned, and this goes in line with something that we've kind of heard before. Obviously, as fans, we've been seeing a lot of the patents and things like that they've been putting out, and a lot of those patents are very much something that are, going to be something that would be perfect for what everybody's been kind of wanting and things like that. So I think that would be absolutely fantastic to see. And, again, I think that would be a smart move by Sony to get that out and to sort of just get those things kind of taken care of to where fans have these great features and stuff like that. Like, that's what people want. So I think that's very cool. And, and I think that that's something that, they'll probably get out sooner rather than later. He also was talking about how Sony works with other companies and things like that. He says sometimes you may be surprised by the ideas of outsiders can have and that they can bring to the stage, and Sony wants to have first access to some of the new technology and stuff like that. So I think that that's really cool. For me personally, I wouldn't really take it with a grain of salt maybe that they would do a Vita successor. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me personally, but we'll have to see if that's something that they're serious about or not. I think if they did it the right way, I think it could be a smart thing. But I know Microsoft is going about things a little bit different way, and what I mean by that is they're going about things in a way that they have phones, and they look at that as not having to make a piece of hardware. But if you look at the success rate of game streaming versus the success rate of handhelds, I think it's quite clear that like people would much rather buy a Switch than stream video games, you know what I mean, where you're really reliant on your connection and things like that, and it's obviously not going to be as good a quality. So you know, and also the controls are going to be much better built for something that's a handheld itself. But I would welcome that and think it would be a very smart thing for them to do. But other than that, I really would appreciate your guys' thoughts and opinions on this. Please let me know what you think, and sound off, rate, comment, subscribe. Have a great day. Take care of each other. Stay safe, happy, and healthy. Rack 'em up, but game on, my friends. Game on. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.